Hello all, welcome to R&D Labs with me Rohan, and today in the series that we are covering on how to use Google Maps API in your Swift project, we'll be seeing how to draw a route or a polyline from point A to point B in our Swift project. With this, we'll be using Places API, we'll be using Directions API, along with the Google Maps API that we had seen in the previous tutorial. Please, before we go ahead, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and hitting the notification button so that you're notified next time a video comes in. So how do we do all this? Let's get started. So for this tutorial, I will start off from where I left off in the previous tutorial, in which we had created a marker using coordinates in your Swift project using Google Maps. And we had created a API in the Google console, and we had given the access right only to access the Google Maps APK for your bundle identifier. So we had gone into console.cloud.google.com and we had created a API key, and we had given certain privileges, certain conditions only for the application to access this particular API. And after that, we had added the API key, or rather before doing this, we had imported the Google Maps pod file to our project. Once it is imported, we had opened the XE workspace file, and we had written this line of code where we need to connect with our app with Google Maps API. So we had provided the API key for this. Next, we went to our storyboard. Just open that for a minute. All right, so we had just dropped in a UI view over here, and we had changed the class of the UI view from UI view to GMS map view. Okay, so this is the change that we had made, and we had added certain constraints to it. After doing this, we had gone back to our view controller, and we had imported the Google Maps module into our view controller, and we had called in the CL location manager delegate to our view controller. And with that, we had the location manager stuff, and we had added the marker to our map. So this is all that we have done in the previous tutorial, but this tutorial is rather different than what we have done earlier. So for this, what I feel is we need to use dynamic coordinates, because wherever I see, like, there are examples showing static coordinates, life is not like that. It is always dynamic, right? I mean, people do search for different places, so we must use the dynamic coordinates. So for this tutorial, what I have planned is I'll be using this piece of code where it shows the current location for the user. Plus with this, you can search a dynamic place using the Places API, get the coordinates out from the Places API and drop it into the Directions API in your project. So this is what we are going to do in this tutorial, and please stick around. I know it will be a lengthy tutorial, so I hope that you get through it and you enjoy. All right, so let's get started. So first up, just to set pace to our project, what I have already done is I have provided the access for two APIs for my project, which is the Directions API and the Places API. So these are the two APIs that have already been granted access for the test Google Maps project. Along with this, what I have done is, in fact, when I was testing my project with these two APIs, I kind of, I was not able to query the Places API nor the Directions API, and it used to always return that the access denied, or certain messages returning back from the JSON request, which meant that I am not supposed to use this API. Though I have provided my bundle identifier, I have provided everything which the the Google Maps API will understand that the request is genuinely coming from my side, but no, it didn't go ahead at all. So all that I've done right now is I just clicked none for the application restrictions, and I have also clicked don't restrict key, and I have saved it. Okay, so I don't recommend you guys to do this just for the sake of this tutorial and to move ahead. I have done this, so maybe you can still try using it from your side. But I had added my button identifier. I had restricted the API to use only for the iOS platform, plus only for the Google Maps API. So it didn't work eventually, so I just removed all my restrictions and I saved it. All right, so this is all that you got to do, apart from what I have done earlier in the previous tutorial. And you can just ignore the screen for a while. We'll be getting back to the Places API first within developers.google.com. all right, and now what I'm going to do is, since we are going to request the API and the response will be coming in the JSON format, you getting me? So we are going to use Alamofire and we are going to use SwiftyJSON to parse the response to and fro from the Google Map API. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our pod file, and we will have to add in 2 pod commands over here. So I think I already have that in my notepad. So let's copy this into the pod file, okay, and save it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my terminal and I'm going to import both the pods. Okay. All right. So it might take some time to install this, and I have got a confirmation things are all right. So let's go and import both of them within our viewController.swift class. So let's go and write import Alamofire and import SwiftyJSON. So these are the 2 libraries that we are going to use. So Alamofire will be sending the request, and the response that will be passed from the Google Maps API will be parsed by SwiftyJSON. Okay, so it's clear. So this is the reason why we are going to use both the libraries. And for some who don't know, this is the outlet that we had created for our UI view, and which is not of type UI view but of type GMS map view. Okay, so if you are just starting to follow me from this tutorial onwards, so this is what we had done in the previous tutorial. All right, so now next what we're going to do is we have the location services enabled check over here, right? So if the location is available, then we will have to kind of show the map with the route, isn't it? So let's write a block here. So this is the block where we are going to write a route, block for the route. Now we will need 4 coordinates, right? So we have the origin latitude, we have the origin longitude, we have the destination latitude, and we have the destination longitude, right? So we will have to declare them, and let's say let origin latitude is equal to, we do have the original latitude, which is from here. So let's copy this and we will place it right here. Okay, and we do have the origin longitude, right? So let's write origin longitude is equal to, and we will have to copy the one that we had written here. Sorry, this is the one, and that's it. Okay, now let's write var destination latitude, and we will have to set a type as CL location degrees, and let's initialize it to 0.0. okay, and let's write var did I misspell it? Yes, destination longitude, and let's write CL location degrees, and let's write 0.0. So now what we are going to do is we are going to query the Places API and get the response back with the coordinates. All right, interesting, right? So let's go open the Places API documentation, and over here, if you can just see. I'll just maximize this section. So how do you query a places API? So in our case, what we are going to do is we are going to call this URL and we are going to input the place that we are going to search over here. All right, so this is the place that we are going to change this, and we are going to input our location over there, and we are going to say input type is text query, and the fields that we are going to be interested in is the geometry, which is the location coordinate. We are not interested in photos, formatted address, name, rating, opening hours, anything as such. We are not interested in that, but we are going to get only the coordinates back from there, and we'll have to pass in our API key. So this is what we are going to do, and this is a place that you can find in all these examples pertaining to the places API. Similarly, we have the documentation even for the directions API. So we will check that later once we finish off with our places API request. Okay, so let's copy this, and we will have to create a variable over here. So let's write let URL places is equal to, and we will have to paste it whatever we had copied from the places API web page. All right, so now this we will have to change it to match our API key. So let's go and fetch our API key. Let's copy this and paste it here. I think this is the same as what we have. Yes. Okay, just a cross check, guys. Okay, now we will have to remove the fields that we are interested. So let's cut the ones that are not required and keep only geometry. The key is here, and we will search for Dubai, isn't it? It's a place close to the place that I am recording from, so I need to see the route to Dubai. Okay, and maps.google.api, maps, places from text JSON as an input. We have Dubai, we have input type query, fields, geometry, key. Yeah, I feel this is okay. Next, we will have to use the Alamofire request method to request the Google Places API. Okay, so let's write ef.request, and we will have to put in our URL places over there as a parameter, and which will have a response back in JSON. So let's write response JSON, and it will also have its own completion handler. So be careful, just follow along with me. So the best thing is to just get rid of all this, and we will have to just open the brackets for our completion handler, and let's say if response in response. Okay, we will just write in, and we will have to declare a variable to save our JSON response, isn't it? So let's write guard and let JSON data is equal to AF response, okay, dot data. So this will return the data in the data format. Okay, so let's write else, and we will have to specify a return to it. Okay, so let me just correct this, and this should be okay. And next, what we're going to do is we are going to write a do block. Okay, so let's write do, and within this block is where we are going to write few lines of code rather for fetching the coordinates from the places API. So first up, what we're going to do is we are going to declare a variable by the name jmapData, and which will get the information from the JSON data variable that we had created a few lines above. Okay, so let's write if let jmapData is equal to try, and we will have to pass in JSON. Let's give it data and JSON data as a parameter. Okay, so with this we will have to write in a for loop to iterate through our jmap data variable. So let's write for, and we will have to name this as O candidates, going with the what do you say, the element within the JSON. Okay, so there is a candidate element that is returned back within the Places API response, and let's write in jmap data, and let's search for candidates, and we will have to specify in the array value for it. Yep, and let's open up the braces, and within the candidates element, within the candidates element, we do have the lat long, or the latitude and longitude within it. So we will have to write in another for loop to fetch the location. Okay, so let's write for O, let's write location in O candidate. Okay, and let's open up the braces for it, and over here what we're going to do is we are going to declare one more for loop, okay, to fetch the latitude and longitude. Yes, I know guys that this is taking a bit longer because you have the JSON is formatted. Okay, so it has got multiple levels in which the response is sent. So you have the candidates, then you have the location, and after that it is the latitude and longitude. Okay, so let's write for lat long in location.1. okay, so this is the kind of the index in the JSON response. Okay, so we will have to write a if statement over here which says if lat long dot 0 dot description is equal to location is equal to, it will be 2. Okay, and then it is the place that we are going to fetch our latitude and longitude. So now what we are going to do is we are going to declare one more variable of type JSON, because we are fetching the value within a JSON block over here. Okay, so this is a reason why we will have to kind of first store the value within a JSON variable, and then we will have to parse it and fetch the latitude and longitude. Okay, so let's write latitude and longitude, and let us have it in JSON, and let's initialize it to null. It's okay. So after doing this, the good part is we will have to go down and just write latitude and longitude is equal to lat long dot 1 to save the latitude and longitude from a JSON response. Okay, and you can you'll have to write multiple for loops to get into a place where you can just fetch the latitude and longitude for the place that you're querying using the Places API. Alright, next we have already declared the destination latitude and destination longitude variables. So let's write destination latitude is equal to latitude longitude dot dictionary value. Okay, and we have the dictionary value as lat as a response from the Places API, and let's write double value, and we have to give in the optional set of it too. Okay, so let's write 0.0. Fair. So this is how you got to kind of fetch the JSON response and push it into our CL location degrees, that is also called as double. Okay, so this is the way in which you can get the value out from JSON to our location degrees variable. So let's write longitude over here, longitude and we'll have to specify lng over here to have it in the longitude variable as well. All right, so you have found the coordinates out of the query that we have over here, and you have the destination latitude, we have the destination longitude as well. Next, what you're going to do is we have to specify the marker, right? Isn't it? So it's easy. What we have previously written for our marker, the same query or same lines of code, we will have to write it again and paste it here. Okay, so we do have the latitude over here, which is the destination latitude. So let's copy and paste it here, and we have the destination longitude, which is right here. Okay, and we do have to specify self over here, and we are done. So instead of say hey hi, I think we just write goodbye over here and get rid of the snippet section. Fair. Next is what we will have to add in the directions API to our call as well, right? So we have finished the places API. So this is what the places API request will be. Okay, so you drill down from the candidates into location, and from the location you have the latitude and longitude. Next, what you're going to do is make some room down and call in the directions API. But before that, let's write a condition over here, since if the destination latitude and or destination longitude is not available, then the directions will definitely not work, right? So let's write destination latitude is not equal to 0.0. Okay, so this will keep kind of a check over there saying that hey, if it's not available, then you will have to add in an else block and respond back to the user. Okay, so let's write let URL, and now which URL do we need to check? We'll have to go back to our console and fetch the directions API URL. So let's go ahead and open up our web page. Let's go to the Google platform. Let's go to the overview. Over here we do have in the documentation text section, we do have the directions API. So where we were in the places API. Okay, so you were here, so it's better we go up here, go into documentation and into the directions API. Okay, so just click that, and over here if you go down, you will find various URL calls for the directions API. And if you go scroll down, you will find various modes of transit that you will be kind of using to reach that place, and based on that it will kind of fetch the directions for you. Okay, so this is what this entire page is all about. So it's kind of best if we pick out the ones that we require, and we will have to use it in our project. So let's just pick one. Okay, and we will have to paste. So this is what I have done over here. I just selected randomly one of the direction request, but later on we'll be building over the URL. So let's copy this, and we will have to paste it within our project. So let's just paste it here, and let's format the URL a bit. Okay, and best thing is just to copy and paste the API from the top, from the places API, and paste it here. Okay, so what do we have here? We have maps.googleapis.com API directions JSON origin. Okay, over here we do have our origin coordinates, right? So let's string interpolate over here and write in our latitude and longitude. Okay, so let's write origin latitude, and let's just give it a optional as well, and we do have to give the longitude as well, right? So let's write comma, and let's write origin longitude as well. Sorry, 0.0. 0. Next we will have to give in the destination as well, right? So let's write let's copy this entire section and paste it here, and let's paste the ones that are declared on top for the origin, for the destination latitude and destination longitude. Okay, so let's write longitude as well for this. Fair. Okay, it doesn't need, I think, an option, because we have already declared or rather provided an option value over there. So let's remove this stuff out. Next, how are we going to go there? Okay, so we will have to specify the mode as well, right? So let's write ampersand mode is equal to driving. Okay, and we will have to specify the key after that. Okay, so we have the origin, we have the destination, okay, and we do have the mode as driving, and we have specified the key. I think things look okay to us now. And after this, what we have to do, we have to query again the Alamofire library and pass in this into our request method. Okay, so let's write af.request, and let's just get rid of this and just pass in the URL into it, and the response will be in JSON. Okay, so let's write JSON with its own completion handler. Let's remove the rest of the part, and over here we will have to write in the AF response completion handler. So let's write AF response in. Okay, and we will have to specify, or rather declare, a variable to store the response back, isn't it? So similarly to what we have done in the previous sections, we will have to just copy this and paste it here. Okay, so this is what we have done right now, and this is, we have got our response back from the AF response, and we are storing it within the JSON data variable. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to again run a for loop. Okay, and this time it's just going to be one for loop, and we will have to encapsulate this within our within a do. Okay, and over here what we're going to do is we will have to again declare a jmap data variable. So let's write jmap data is equal to, let's write try JSON, and we will have to specify where is it, data, yes. Okay, and we will have to pass in the JSON data variable that we had declared earlier. And after this we will have to specify, or rather declare, the root variable. Okay, so now this will be of type array. So let's declare, but what is this error all about? Invalid conversion. Oh, I think we have missed the catch to write over here. So let's write catch let error, and let's print that error here. So let's write error dot localized description. I think this error message should go now. Correct. So now let's go and write let arr root. Okay, so this is our variable which will store the roots in the array format. Okay, so it will have latitude and longitude in a series. It's a long series of latitude and longitude, and that will be saved within this variable. Okay, so let's write is equal to jmap data. Okay, and we will have to write in roots over there. Okay, and dot array value. Great. So now after this we will have to iterate through our array, okay, and get the value out. Okay, so let's write for loop for root. okay, in arr root. So over here in this block, we will have to kind of declare four variables, okay, four objects. One for the overview polyline, the other one is for the points, the third one is for the path, okay, and we will have to specify the last declaration of a variable will be for polyline. So there are four kind of components that we will be building to define a path on the map. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that one by one, and I hope you guys are following along with me. So let's write let overview is equal to root. Okay, so this is a root variable that we had declared earlier, and let's specify overview polyline, and we will have to specify that as dictionary. Okay, so we have declared our first variable. Next we will have to specify let points is equal to overview, and we will have to specify points, okay, which is present within the overview dictionary, and let's say points dot string. Yeah, okay, so we have typecasted it to string and saved it within the points variable. Okay, so next is the path. Okay, so how do we declare it? So let's say let paths is equal to gms, yeah, gms path. So we will have to call in this class, and let's say init, and we will have to specify the path into it. Okay, so let's write init from encoded path, and we will have to specify the points that we have declared earlier. So let's write points and specify an empty value to that as well. Okay, so this is what you got to do to specify the path out of the points. Next we will have to specify the polyline, right? So let's write let polyline is equal to gms polyline dot init, and we will have to specify the path that we have declared earlier. Okay, so this is what we need to do to get the polyline out of it. All right, next we will have to give some cosmetic look and feel to the polyline, right? I mean, we will have to specify the color, the width, the stroke, and all these things, right? So let's say polyline dot stroke color is equal to dot system red. I like how the map looks with the red color as a path. Okay, easily readable. So let's write next we will have to specify even the width of it, right? So let's write stroke width, and I'll just specify it as 5. Okay, so it will be like a thin close to thin line stroke width. Yeah, and after doing all this, you will have to give or rather specify the map to it, right? So let's say polyline dot map is equal to self dot my map. Okay, so this is what you got to do to reach to a stage where you have designed the polyline and you need to assign the map to that particular polyline. All right, so after doing this, let me just run this on my iPhone and see whether things are all right or not, and I hope it is all right. So let's say run, and I will just start in my screen recorder as well over here, so that it is in sync, it is in line with what we are doing with the build. So let's see if it works, isn't it? It's all about doing that. It's taking a while. All right, don't worry about the messages that are coming in over here. We'll just ignore that, and let's see what we have in. Okay, request is gone. Wow, beautiful. Look at that red line just shown on the map, and this is where I am and speaking to you guys from Muscat, and I want to reach Dubai. So this is the path that is actually shown on the map. So what all did we do to reach to this place? Okay, so we have first of all you need to go to our console, enable the API request for your API to use the Google Maps, Google Directions, and Google Places API. Next, after doing that, don't forget to remove the restrictions from the API. Okay, so this was one of the things that I had spent my time, I think almost half a day to rectify and check what was going on with my API. Though I have actually specified it properly, I had specified it with none, and specified it for iOS, sorry, and specified it for having a restriction. So this is what I had done, but then I just specified it as none and don't restrict it for this tutorial. I don't know what happened, so if you guys can have some time with your side, and I mean you can just do some kind of a check at your end. After doing this, what you have done is we had gone to our Places API and we fetched the URL to query the Places API, isn't it? So we did that, and after doing that, we came here. We had imported the AF, or rather, we had imported the Alamofire and SwiftyJSON modules into our project using pod commands, and we had then sent a Places API request through Alamofire. We had then parsed the request. We had written for loops within it, got the destination latitude and longitude. Bear in mind, it is a really dynamic thing, so if you put in anything over here instead of Dubai, if you just put in a place, your local grocery store or something like that, which is there in Google Maps, so that thing will definitely get returned over here. Okay, so this is dynamic, and after doing this, you had after doing this, we had again queried the directions API to get the directions from our current location. Okay, so even the current location that we have over here is from the place that the user is going to use. Okay, so this is the location. Okay, this is also very dynamic, not static at all. So this will definitely help you to develop some kind of an app for the user on a dynamic basis. Okay, I hope you like this tutorial, and I hope that this will suit your purpose, and please stick around for the rest of the tutorials that are going to follow. So this is how you use the Directions API, the Places API, and the Google Maps API to draw a route from point A to point B in your Swift project. I haven't used any static coordinates. All that I have used is dynamic coordinates using all these APIs and show it to you guys. I hope you like this video. If you have any doubts, please reach me out in the comment section. I'll be happy to help as always. And please, please, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and hitting the notification button so that you're notified next time a video comes in. See you until next time. Cheers.